की जय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मरण मोहन जू की जय। नित्य प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अश्वत रश्वत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोस्वामी महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जय। नित्य प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अश्वत रश्वत शिशिमार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्य प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अश्वत रश्वत शिशिमार श्रील भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्य प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अश्वत रश्वत शिशिमार Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashutara Shata Shishmad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Nitil Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashutara Shata Shishmad Srila Bhakti Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosvāmī Prabhupada ki jai. Nitil Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Srila Gorksharas Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Nityala Pravishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nityala Pravishta Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupa Anugakariya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Padadash Raghunath Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल ब्रज मंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जाय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदात गिरिराज महाराज की जाय। श्री राधा कुंद श्याम कुंद की जाय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जाय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जाय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जाय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माय की जाय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जाय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जाय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जाय। नित्य प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अश्वत रश्वत शिशिमाद श्रील भक्ति कुमुद संत गोस्वामी महाराज की जाय। तदीय शुभ आविर्भाव तिथि की जाय। नित्य श्रील भक्ति विज्ञान भारती गोस्वामी महाराज my beloved masters की जाय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जाय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। Hari Bol, everybody. So I'm just reading, this morning I read the first half of this chapter from Srila Bhaktivedanta Bhāratī Goswami Mahārāja's book, My Beloved Masters. And now we only got halfway through it, and now I'm going to read the second half. So I'll share my screen. Let's see, who's all there? Oh, Haribo, Rukmini Didi. Jai, Srila Bhakti Kumud Santa Goswami Maharaj ki jai. All right, so yeah, this is about halfway through. His magnetic Harikatha and Kirtan. Many people would come to the Math just to hear Srila Santa Goswami Maharaja's beautiful Harikatha and Kirtans. Once, he accompanied Guru Maharaj to Jammu with a preaching party. Although he sang kirtans in Bengali, a language the people of Jammu do not understand, many people were nonetheless attracted. Everyone in attendance appreciated his kirtans so much that they would repeatedly request him to sing. And so he sang a kirtan about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Varnachor Kota Matai Chalbere. Cholbere. Oops, that should be Cholbe. O you who have stolen the complexion of Srimati Radharani, you have intoxicated us. Where now do you wish to take us? After returning from the daily Nagar Sankirtans held during the program, he would sing the following song, which dripped with ras as it emanated from his lotus lips. Nagara Brahmiya Amar Gorelo Ghare Amar Nitayelo Ghare. After roaming throughout the towns and villages, my Gaur has come back home. Gaur has come back home, and my Nitai has come back home. Dhula jhari shachi mata Gaur kole kore Dhola jhare parmavate nitai kole kore. Brushing off the dust from his body, Mother Shachi takes Gaur upon her lap. Brushing off the dust from his body, Mother Padmavati takes Nitai upon her lap. As the preaching party for that trip was quite large, 2 programs were held each day. Although Śrīla Mahārāja was not proficient in speaking Hindi, his Harikatha was simple and easily understandable for all, and it therefore attracted many people. Honoring the requests of the residents of Jammu, he performed kirtan and spoke Harikatha twice daily. I know a few people from Jammu who are his disciples. His strictness and gravity. Whether he was attending a meeting, arranging a festival, or sitting as chairman of an assembly, Śrīla Santa Gosvāmī Mahārāja was always extremely punctual. We have observed that if he was presiding over a function and someone spoke Harikatha beyond the allotted time, Śrīla Mahārāja would immediately interrupt him by terminating his address. This would be... Anyways, never mind. If the speaker was senior to Śrīla Mahārāja, he would politely but firmly request him to stop speaking. But with juniors, he would grab them by the ears and order them to sit down. Imagine Padmanabha Maharaj speaking in front of Śrīla Bhakti Santa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Okay. Śrīla Santa Gosvāmī Mahārāja did not tolerate inattentiveness. If he observed anyone, whether a brahmachari, sannyasi, lady, child, or whosoever, doing anything besides sincerely hearing during the time of Harikatha, he would reprimand that person without giving them a chance to speak, saying, "Please leave. You do not know the etiquette of sitting in an assembly of Vaishnavas." Once, a Mataji came to hear Harikatha with her grandson, who was approximately one or 1.5 years old. When the boy started crying loudly during the katha, she tried to pacify him. Seeing this, Śrīla Santa Gosvāmī Mahārāja told her, "Do not stay in this assembly any longer. Only attentive people who give first priority to Harikatha are welcome here, and not anybody else. You think the care of your grandson to be of the utmost importance and Harikatha to be secondary. Do you think this is a place where people can sit and do as they please? Our time is very precious, and we have no interest in wasting it. Please leave immediately." Wow, heavy. If Śrīla Mahārāja ever saw a person who had dedicated his life to brahmacharya fail to honor the required rules and regulations, such as shaving on Purnima, he would chastise the person, saying, "Why have you accepted the clothes of a brahmachari? You are only cheating yourself. Stop trying to ruin your life. Simply follow the teachings of our Guru Varga. Even if you do not understand the purpose of each and every principle, you will still be benefited by following them." Establishing Siddhanta in few words. Once, Śrīla Santa Gosvāmī Mahārāja hosted a function at his Bihala Mat in Kolkata and invited many different guests to speak. Among them were a number of disciples of Śrīla Prabhupada, like Śrīmad Bhakti Bhudev Shroti Gosvāmī Mahārāja, as well as Śrīla Prabhupada's grand disciples from various mats, such as Pujapad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj and myself. Also in attendance was an old Brahman University professor from a local college. His face displayed a lack of interest during the gathering, and when it came time for him to deliver his lecture, he spoke Mayavad philosophy, declaring, "Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahma," along with several other Mayavad slogans. After finishing his speech, the professor rejoins the other speakers on stage and continued to look visibly So after his speech, the professor rejoins the other speakers on stage and continued to look visibly disinterested during any subsequent speeches. When the time came for Śrīla Santa Gosvāmī Mahārāja to give his speech, Śrīla Mahārāja asked, "Are you Brahma?" The professor answered, "Yes, I am." Śrīla Mahārāja asked, "Then is it true that you do not undergo vikar? You don't undergo any change or transformation?" "Correct, I do not," the professor replied. Then, with one hand gripping his sannyas danda and the other in a clenched fist,
Śrīla Santa Gosvāmī Mahārāja abruptly arose from his chair and charged at the Mayavadi professor, mimicking as if he were going to beat him. Viscerally startled, the old man flinched in sheer terror. Śrīla Mahārāja repeated this threatening motion 2 more times, and in both instances, the man recoiled in fear. Śrīla Mahārāja declared, "You are not Brahma. Brahma is nirvikar. Brahma never undergoes change and never reacts to anything. No one can harm Brahma, and therefore Brahma will never react in any situation. By becoming fearful just now, you revealed to the entire assembly that you are not Brahma." In so few words, Śrīla Santa Gosvāmī Mahārāja exposed the old Brahman's philosophy as false. Then, with the entire assembly, including the children, roaring in laughter, the old professor felt mortified and begged Śrīla Mahārāja for forgiveness. A special meaning of Krishna Nitya Das. One second, I'm just checking the comments. Hare Krishna, Rohit Radha Krishnan ji, Dandavat Pranams. And Hare Krishna, Shah Sharma ji. Okay, special meaning of Krishna Nitya Das. I have heard Śrīla Santa Gosvāmī Mahārāja speak his opinion on Sri Chaitanya Dev's teaching to Śrīla Sanatana Goswami Pad. Jiver Sarup Hoy, Krishna Nitya Das. Oh, Krishna Nitya. Yeah, anyways. That's from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 2108. He said, "This verse states that the Sarup, the eternal form of the Jiva, is as Krishna's eternal servant. And while this is most certainly true, I would like to interpret it in a slightly different way. From my point of view, the word Krishna here does not mean Krishna who is performing his pastimes in Goloka Vrindavan. Instead, I take it to mean Krishna who appears in this world in the form of Guru to deliver sincere souls out of the clutches of Maya and bring them to the lotus feet of Krishna, where they may engage in his loving service." The statement of Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami supports my stance. Guru Rupe Krishna Kripa Kore na Bhakta Gane, that's from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila 145. In his form as Guru, Krishna distributes his mercy to the devotees. Therefore, it is not incorrect to say Jiver Surupa Hoy Gurur Nitya Das. Why have I accepted this point of view? Because since time immemorial, I have been wandering about the universe in different forms, accepting bodies of the different 8,400,000 species, and only in this lifetime has Krishna manifested himself in front of me as Sri Guru to bless me with everything. Thus, I consider that form, his form as Sri Guru, to be eternally worshipful. When I was preaching in Rangoon, I wrote an article titled Bhrityar Parichai, the identity of a servant, in which I included a poem of mine that expressed the following. The glory of service to Sri Guru Pad Padma exceeds that of service to Sri Krishna. Why? While it is true that the jiva is constitutionally an eternal servant of Sri Krishna, the conditioned soul has forgotten this relationship due to his aversion to him since time immemorial. Sri Gurudev is the giver of Sambandha Gyan, knowledge of one's eternal relationship with Bhagavan. As one engages everything, body, mind, and words, in serving him, in serving Sri Guru, he becomes Gurudeva Tatma, one in spirit with Sri Gurudev. Then, by Sri Gurudev's mercy, the practitioner gradually realizes that the purport of the teaching from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila 145, Guru Rupe Krishna Kripa Korina Bhakta Gane. Class chlte. Say Amar Ma. Amar Ma. Then, by Sri Gurudev's mercy, the practitioner gradually realizes the purport of the teaching from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila 145, Guru Rupe Krishna Kripa Korina Bhakta Gane. In the form of Sri Guru, Krishna bestows his mercy on the devotees. Not to speak of the stage of sadhan bhakti, even in the liberated state, when the soul is situated in his eternal nature, when he is situated in Sarup Siddhi, none of his efforts bear fruit without the guidance of Sri Gurudev. Wow, that's a really bold statement. Not to speak of the stage of sadhana bhakti, even in the liberated state, when he's attained Surup Siddhi, none of his efforts bear fruit without the guidance of Shri Gurudev. Even in the stage of Vastu Siddhi, that's when we've gotten our eternal form in Goloka Vrindavan, when we're actually taken birth from the womb of a gopi. Even in that stage, the jiva's attainment of Shri Radha Krishna Yugal service is dependent on the guidance of Shri Guru. Therefore, Shri Gurudev is the embodiment of Bhagavan's mercy, and his mercy is not limited to this world alone. It is said, Shri Guru Charana Satya Tahara Sevaka Nitya. The lotus feet of Shri Guru are truth, and I am eternally his servant. The relationship of servitude with that disciple, the relationship of servitude that the disciple establishes with Shri Guru Parma at the time of Diksha is eternal. Even in the perfected stage, in Shri Krishna's eternal pastimes, this relationship exists in a special form. Thus, in order for the jiva to realize his position as the eternal servant of Shri Krishna, it is absolutely necessary for him to serve Shri Guru Parma. For this very reason, Srila Rupa Goswami has stated in Sri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Vishrambhena Guror Seva Sadhu Vartmanu Vartanam. One ought to render intimate service to Guru and follow the path of the sadhus. Shri Gurudev is the personification of Shri Bhagavan's mercy. In terms of potency of mercy, Shri Guru and Shri Bhagavan are one. Bhagavan possesses all potencies. Among all his potencies, his mercy potency reigns supreme. All other potencies of his are subordinate to this potency. Although Shri Gurudev is not omnipotent, the omnipotent Bhagavan is under his sway due to the power of his prem. Therefore, the mercy of Guru is all in all. After I completed this essay, I gave it to my senior godbrother, Sri Bhakti Sudhir Jajak Maharaj, who then sent it with great delight to Sri Dham Mayapur, where it eventually reached the lotus hands of Srila Prabhupada. Once Srila Prabhupada read it, he gave it to Sri Pranavananda Brahmachari to read, and said, "What Radharaman has written is correct. It is a matter of great delight that he has gained such spiritual insight at his young age. His conclusions in this essay are perfect and factual, and it should be published in our magazine, Dainik Nadia Prakash, for all to read." Later, Srila Prabhupada personally sent me a letter conveying his blessings to me. And as we all know, Pranavananda Brahmachari was Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj's name. Vaishnavas like Srila Santa Goswami Maharaj and many other disciples of Srila Prabhupada are Mahan Vibhutis. They are great personalities. Their lives, their conduct, their thoughts, their vision, and everything else about them is such that our astonishment at their divine qualities increases the more we hear and speak about them. Hari Bol, Prajumna Prabhu and Mantra Murti Mataji. But I don't understand your question fully, Prajumna Prabhu. Anyways, we can talk about this afterwards. Okay, an affectionate refusal. Being very merciful to me, Srila Santa Goswami Maharaj gave me the opportunity to serve him in various ways. Once, my Guru Maharaj sent me to Puri along with our Sri Yashoda Jivan Brahmachari, Sri Bhakti Surabh Acharya Maharaj, whose name was Sri Gauranga Prasad Brahmachari at the time, and others for the important work of acquiring the property of Srila Prabhupada's birth site in Jagannath Puri. While there, we stayed with Srila Santa Goswami Maharaj in a small house he purchased for the purpose of converting it into a mutt. It's right near Toto Gopinath. When the time of the Rath Yatra festival came, I sent Sri Gauranga Prasad Prabhu to humbly request Srila Santa Goswami Maharaj to allow us to leave and stay in a nearby Dharmashala during the upcoming festival, as we expected many of his disciples would be coming to stay with him in the small house. We could return after the festival, but we do not want to impose on Śrīla Mahārāja or his followers. Upon hearing our request, Śrīla Mahārāja affectionately, yet firmly, replied in great surprise, "How is it possible that I can accept this?" The words, "Yes, you can stay somewhere else," can never come from my mouth. Why? Because the work you came here to do, purchasing the property of Śrīla Prabhupada's birth site, was actually our duty, since we are his disciples. While we have not made the slightest endeavor for that, we see that you are very enthusiastically accomplishing this work. Therefore, it is impossible for me to accept your proposal, and I request that although we are unable to provide you with so many facilities, please make any necessary adjustments with the facilities we are capable of providing, so that you can peacefully stay with us. A Vaishnav never considers, this place is ours and we can manage everything. Everything should be done according to our desire. No. Instead, they think, no, this is not our place. This place belongs to the Vaishnavas, and we are its members, not its owners. We will cooperate with whoever comes, accommodating them according to the available facilities. Śrīla Santa Gosvāmī Mahārāja later gave me the opportunity to construct a proper mat at the site of that house. He asked me, "This is such a small place, but my disciples are telling me that you can create a decent plan and layout for the construction of a mat." I mentioned, "Yes, but because it is small, it cannot be constructed in a rectangular manner. It should be done in a parallel way. The ashram can be on one side and the temple can be on the other side." He replied, "I don't understand parallel construction, rectangular construction, or any of these things. Please just do it in such a way that everything will be done properly." After that, I made the plan, inspected everything, and oversaw the entire construction process. Extending an invitation to a king on his behalf. Another time, Śrīla Santa Gosvāmī Mahārāja wanted to organize a large festival for the 25th anniversary of a mat he built in Keshiyari, in the district of Bardhaman, West Bengal. I've been there. I was there for his Samadhi festival there. Although the king of Puri was invited to be a guest of honor at the festival, he declined. Knowing that I had a friendly relationship with the king, Śrīla Santa Gosvāmī Mahārāja sent a letter ordering me to convince the king to attend the function. On Śrīla Mahārāja's order, I visited the king, who said, "I have already told them it is impossible for me to attend." I jokingly replied, "From that sentence, just remove the word not, and then it will be possible." The king then explains that although he wanted to attend, he had a prior engagement elsewhere during the same time as the festival. After inquiring further, I came to know that the mat was on the way to his other engagement. I told him not to worry, and that I would arrange for his travel and everything if he would agree to visit the mat for a short while on the way. Hearing this, the king accepted my proposal. I was then able to personally accompany him to Śrīla Santa Gosvāmī Mahārāja's mat for the inauguration festival. That very day, Śrīla Santa Gosvāmī Mahārāja ordered me to speak Harikatha. I chose to explain the need for a Gaudiya mat in Keshiyari, a place known for its abundance of temples. I explained that despite the town's many temples, there was in fact a dire need for a Gaudiya mat, because even if people had the opportunity to visit every one of those temples, their hearts would never change. The mat, however, is a place where people can make their lives successful by smearing the foot dust of pure devotees all over their bodies. In the mat, a spiritual teacher is present, and those who want to become real, sincere spiritual students are always welcome to come, learn, and practice. The mat exists for the well-being of such persons, and it provides a great opportunity to its visitors to become fortunate by taking the mercy of the devotees residing there. In the association of such sadhus, learning the true deep meanings of the Shastras is inevitable. Afterward, Śrīla Santa Gosvāmī Mahārāja mentioned to me, "The devotees greatly appreciated your presentation and would like you to stay with them for as long as your schedule allows." Humbly recognizing his position as a servant of our Guru Varga. During our time together in Keshiyari, Śrīla Santa Gosvāmī Mahārāja and I received the opportunity to visit the appearance place of Sri Rasikananda Dev, a disciple of Sri Shyamananda Prabhu. The devotees there wanted to offer pranami to Śrīla Santa Gosvāmī Mahārāja, but he flatly refused, saying, "This is a place of our Guru Varga. How can I accept pranami here?" Instead of accepting the devotees' pranami, he offered the pranami to them. Following his instruction despite my embarrassment. By the mercy of Śrīla Santa Gosvāmī Mahārāja, I was able to render various services to him. As a result of these services, he became pleased with me. Our relationship deepened, and his affection for me became so strong that whenever we stayed in the same place, he never allowed me to take prasad without him or to stay anywhere other than his room. During festivals or any other functions where my Guru Maharaj or his godbrothers were present, I always sat on the ground while they sat on the dais. But once, Śrīla Santa Gosvāmī Mahārāja ordered me to join them on the stage. Being embarrassed to sit on the same level as my Guru Varga, I declined. But my Guru Maharaj told me, "Because Pujapad Santa Maharaj has given you the order, you must sit with us. Do not say no." He was the first disciple of Srila Prabhupada to ask me to sit on the dais. From then on, I began to sit on the stage. I never did so before that. Appreciating a beloved godbrother. Srila Bhakti Kumuda Santa Gosvāmī Mahārāja once spoke the following on the appearance day of Śrīmad Bhakti Pramod Puri Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Two of our most worshipful Vaishnavas, Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Gosvāmī Mahārāja and Srila Bhakti Hridayban Gosvāmī Mahārāja, mercifully brought this unworthy soul to the proximity of His divine grace, Srila Prabhupada, whereby I attained the shelter of His lotus feet. It is impossible for me to repay the infinite compassion they showed me. All I can do is express to them my most sincere gratitude. That I have been able to adhere to this path of bhakti even at the age of 84 is possible only because of Sripad Puri Maharaja's continuous guidance, and I am deeply indebted to him for this. Srila Puri Maharaj is extremely well educated and well versed in scripture. Learned men are plentiful, but a truly knowledgeable man is rare. The knowledge he imparts is not merely bookish, nor should it be considered speculative reasoning. Rather, it is most relishable and enlightening, simply because it is transcendently beautiful and divine in nature. By the grace of his Gurudev, the divine qualities of a bona fide acharya were already evident in his activities from the outset of his spiritual pursuits. Although he was always grave in his dealings, he never disregarded anybody. He never cheated anyone, nor was he ever dishonest. His exemplary life and conduct can be aptly described through the following verse of the Mundaka Upanishad. Tadvigyanartam sagurumeva bhigachet samit panishrotriyam brahmanishtam. This means that in order to obtain Bhagavad Bhakti, one should humbly approach a spiritual master who is well versed in that science and offer to him his body, mind, and speech. In other words, he should completely surrender to Sri Guru. I consider myself Sri Puri Maharaja's younger godbrother, and he is also my Shiksha Guru from whom I have learnt the subtleties of the Vedic scriptures. A few of his teachings. Just checking everything's still working? Okay. The following are a few of Srila Santa Gosvāmī Mahāraja's teachings that left an indelible impression on my heart. Okay, so in order to taste bhakti ras, two components are indispensable: a realized speaker and a sincerely inquisitive listener. Our inability to experience this ras is solely due to an absence of either of these two requirements. Such genuine transcendental experience can never be achieved through a mere act of imitation. Sri Guru is an ocean of mercy, whereas the material world is an ocean of birth and death. The only means to cross over this woeful ocean is to surrender exclusively to the lotus feet of the spiritual master. Sri Guru has no occupation other than performing Bhagavad Bhakti, and by the infinite grace of his preceptor, he is well versed in every aspect of the transcendental realm. Having already obtained the mercy of his predecessor acharyas, he too possesses all the qualities of a true acharya. Thus, Sri Guru is qualified to bestow blessings on others and deliver the fallen souls. If we deeply consider the principle of Sri Guru, we find that the root words gu and ru in Sanskrit mean darkness and that which destroys or eliminates respectively. Gu means darkness and ru means that which destroys. Therefore, it is evident that one who is incapable of removing the darkness of ignorance from the hearts of the living entities cannot be considered a true guru. Living our lives in this material world is difficult and dangerous, like walking on the sharp edge of a razor. Every step gives rise to sorrow and pain. Moreover, to be bereft of spiritual knowledge is a source of great misery. Now, this is his third instruction. It is impossible to realize the absolute truth through parrot-like preaching or the pursuit of speculative knowledge. The purports of the Vedic scriptures are revealed through the medium of Sri Guru the purports of the Vedic scriptures are revealed through the medium of Sri Guru only to the surrendered bhaktas who serve the spiritual master with the same completely pure and unalloyed devotion with which they serve Bhagavan. His fourth instruction that Srila Bharatīji Maharaj got from him. Real education begins when one's capacity to learn is directed toward serving Sri Hari. Many individuals study scriptures merely to exhibit their half-baked knowledge, but such ambition is strictly forbidden. True knowledge is that which inspires one to seek the service of Bhagavan. Jai Srila Bhakti Kumuda Santa Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki Jai. Oh yes, Samit Pani Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. Come to the Guru with firewood in the hand. Yes. All right. Oh, I tried at one point translating one of his songs. What is it? Chilam kotai elam hetai kotai jabo bhabina. But I don't think we finished making a translation for it. I have to find it. Anyways, I think I'm going to end here. It's already 8:30. It's getting late. Let me see if I can just find it really quick. Chilam kotai. No, I don't see it. It's not coming up. Anyhow, yeah, he wrote so many beautiful kirtans. All right, so I'll just end here. Thanks for coming, Didi. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol. I just remember there's a beautiful thing, this one. Srila Narahari, I'm just going to read a short thing from Srila Bhakti Kumuda Santa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Yeah. I'm going to just read this. This is beautiful. Okay. So Srila Bhakti Kumuda Santa Gosvāmī Mahārāja, he says, I was fortunate to have received full shelter of Sri Gurudev's, that's Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada's lotus feet at the age of 11. At that time, I was living in the rented Kolkata Mat at number 1 Ultadanga Junction Road and studying at primary school. Later, I stayed in the Mata in Mayapur and studied Harinamamrita Vyakaranam. At the time, the present Acharya of Sri Gaudiya Vedanta Samiti, Śrīmad Bhaktivedanta Vāman Maharaj, was my classmate. We lived together, studying, serving, and so on. Since then, I had the good fortune to be extremely close to Param Pujapad Sri Śrīmad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. In those days, all the residents of the Mat affectionately addressed him as Vinodda. I also called him Vinodda. He had not yet taken sannyas. As the property manager in Sri Dham Mayapur, he took full charge of overseeing the estate. He was rather debonair, and he would ride a horse to tend to estate affairs. Vinodda naturally commanded so much authority that we were sometimes somewhat intimidated by the very sight of him. Although he was a brahmachari, all the sannyasis and senior godbrothers treated him with particular respect. At the time, Srila Prabhupada's dear servant, Pujapad Shripad Narahari Prabhu, looked after the Mat in Mayapur. He was, in a way, the mother of the Mat. We all addressed him as Prabhu. He had a very accommodating nature and cared for all the youngsters in the Mat with great affection. We therefore spoke with him openly and without inhibition. The grave and somber Vinodda and the simple and straightforward Sri Narahari Prabhu made an astonishing transcendental combination. Together, they enlivened us all with their ideal character and their exemplary faith in Guru, service to Guru, and practice of bhajan. So much so that till today we have not deviated from the realm of bhajan. Theirs was a great friendship. Shripad Naraharida was always loudly chanting the names of Hari throughout the day, wherever he went, busy with various tasks and service to the Mat. But we did not know what he did at night. One evening, I woke unexpectedly and saw that he was wrapped in chanting japa of the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, in a gentle yet stricken tone. I then saw, to my surprise, that his shika was tied by a rope to a peg in the wall. I knew it was not appropriate to disturb his Harinam, so I went back to sleep. In the morning, I offered obeisances at his lotus feet with great sincerity and inquired, Prabhu, why do you have your shika tied to a peg in the wall? Why did you have your shika tied to a peg in the wall last night while you were performing bhajan? He dismissed me affectionately, saying, Go and study. You won't understand all this just yet. Then he continued, You see, I am busy all day with various services in the Mat, so I don't get any time to chant Harinam. At night, when chanting, I tie my shika to the peg in the wall so that laziness and sleep do not overcome me. Such was his astonishing conviction in performing sadhan and bhajan. All right, I just wanted to read that because now we can hear some more direct words of Srila Bhakti Kumuda Santa Goswami Maharaj. Yeah, he is only 11 years old when he joins the Mat. All right. Jai Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai Shri Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Ju Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Shishmad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Srila Gurudev Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Shishmad Srila Bhaktivedanta Vāman Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Shishmad Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Shishmad Srila Bhakti. God, I spaced out for a second. Oh God, I'm really sorry, guys. Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Shishmad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Srila Gorkishoras Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai Nityalila Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Rupanugoriya Guru Varga Ki Jai Srila Bhakti Vijñāna Bhāratī Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Srila Bhakti Balavatirtha Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Srila Bhakti Dayat Madhav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupada Śrīmad Bhakti Kumuda Santa Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Todhir Shubha Avirbhav Titi Ki Jai Titi Palankari Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Swa Parshad Shri Gaur Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopal Gopigan Ki Jai Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Samagata Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Shri Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Dandavat pranams everybody. Vanchakalpatarubhyashta kripa sindhu vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Dandavat pranams everybody. Rukmini Didi and Rohit Radhakrishnan ji, Prajumna Prabhu, Mantramurti Mataji, and everybody else watching, Shash Sharma ji. Hare Krishna everybody. I'll see you all tomorrow morning to read about, tomorrow is the, what is it? It is the disappearance day of Abhiram Thakur. And so we can read a little bit about Sri Abhiram Thakur and then also continue with our Śrīmad Bhagavatam reading. All right, I'll see you all tomorrow. Jai Shri Radhe. Hari Bol Rukmini Didi.